and where are the toenails going?
Out into the open, just out anywhere.
God. Hey guys, welcome to the official YouTube page for Calm Down with Erin and Charissa. This is where you can watch all of our ridiculous conversations and fun interviews. We have full shows, we've got pre-games, anything and everything that you guys could want. But first, you're going to have to subscribe. Just hit subscribe right there and you're good to go. And now you can calm down with us. Yep. Can you tell that we're reading this off a script? We hope so. All right. We need to calm down and wrap this bad boy up. Press subscribe. Thanks for listening. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
All right. So you want me to lead the way here as we transition our way from the pregame into the big show?
It's what you do well as a producer. Let's go.
Well, no, listen, that is not what I do. It's what you do well as the talent here. So
go ahead.
No, listen, I wanted to step in line with some themes that are regularly occurring between you and Charissa on this show.
Okay.
And so I myself have been spending some more time traveling due to some work circumstances. And so I just happened to notice some of these traveling airport circumstances that you guys are so often talking about during the football season. And so I had one bad experience and one good experience. So we will end on some more positive notes, but we will start a little negative here as we start the big show here on the Calm Down podcast. Happy to be stepping in for Charissa this week. So I witnessed something that I think should border on a criminal offense. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I do think it falls in line with pretty much criminal behavior. United Lounge, LAX Airport.
Haven't been in it.
They have different smaller seating areas where you could, be just 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. This was a longer, more communal bar where you could probably have about like 8 to 10 people seating. I witnessed the man, and I kid you not, clipping his nails at the airport lounge.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, and when I talk about criminal behavior, I'm like, that is like a health hazard. Like, that is so unhygienic and
shoes
disgusting.
Off, not that it matters, but just one shoe off. Are we doing both? And where are the toenails going?
Out into the open. Just out anywhere.
God.
He was clipping his fingernails and clipping it. I'm just like, I can't even comprehend what I'm witnessing and experiencing here. And so I'm sorry, like that is just so beyond unacceptable. And I would not be against that resulting in not just being banned from an airport lounge or an airport altogether, but maybe some type of fine, or I'm not sure, but that is repulsive behavior that is so unacceptable.
Were other people around him making faces at each other? Because I would look for the eyes with other people or the faces like I do with Burkhart on the road and be like I would need some community disgust.
Sure. So I think I was so perplexed and blown away by what was occurring. It was almost like a car accident where I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Like, I'm just like, am I seriously seeing this? That I was not observant enough to see what other people's reactions were. But I will tell you this will tell you everything, is obviously people were hyper aware of what was happening because there was no one around in that space. Which is why you weren't
getting other people's faces or like looks of, I get you, I see you.
He had a quarter to a third of the entire lounge to himself to partake in that activity because people were very observant of what was occurring and wanted no part of it.
Which never happens in a lounge. Yeah, which never happens in a lounge. They're always so crowded. So maybe to the point, Ryan, that he was the winner. You don't want all these people around? Do something disgusting. Yeah. Start clipping your toenails. Then the club's gonna clear on out.
Listen, you can that's what he was going for.
Clipping my, toenails.
Yeah, that's right. Popping bottles and clipping nails. Why not? But yeah, to your point, if that was what this gentleman was hoping to achieve, job well done, because it was quite effective. in many ways that it just makes me. So I'm gonna hope that this was an isolated incident. Now, you spend more time in airports than I do, and this is the only time I've ever witnessed it. So I'm gonna hope this was an isolated incident, because it just makes you wonder what's happening in all of these spaces that you have to inhabit while you're at an airport, that just makes you go, wow, how many other people have tried this? How many other people have tried things just as gross and unhygienic as this, that I'm now unwittingly now stepping into because they've departed and I was unable to see exactly what they were doing?
I don't think it's a one-off for this dude. You're not just traveling with toenail clippers. Also, my toenail's coming off, and I'm not trying to clip it. I want to glue it and keep it on.
Wow. Well, I guess what's the backstory here? Like, what if we're losing toenails?
My ski boots are too tight, and they bruised so badly. Ooh. And there's like, you could just tell, like, whatever, they're discolored underneath. Whoops, sorry. And yeah, today was the day I worked out in no socks in my own area, in my own like little gym area at my house. And I moved a certain way on the mat, and my toenails hanging on by a string.
So I think that's not just your ski boots are a little too tight. I mean, I've had shoes that maybe run a little small, but you can't just be losing toenails because you're trying to say that they're a little too tight.
I grew up on point shoes where you stand on your toes in ballet.
Okay, sure.
And I was losing my toenails all the time with those. And I do feel like, again, we've disclosed I'm not a doctor, but if you lose your toenails, I think with ballet, you're more susceptible to lose them again. Not sure, but I always lose my toenails. It's disgusting. Okay. I get it.
But I think
who's more disgusting, that guy or me?
I'm going to go with him still in a close one, but I'm going to go with him. I think the point of contention there, though, is that your ski boots and your shoes as an adult don't need to fit like point shoes anymore.
I know.
So maybe you could go like a half size up so that way this is no. Oh, wow.
I did.
Okay.
I changed them.
Are your feet still growing?
I looked at my husband one day and I said, I can't take these ski boots anymore. Like, I cannot feel, and I've had them for pretty much 9-8 years. And I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm done. So I got fitted for new ski boots. He thought it's because I wanted to be cool or whatever. And I'm like, no, literally. And then I got a pedicure and I saw all the bruising on my toenail. And now I'm going to show him today that my toenail is off. And I'm not a wuss. So I think we get that. So yeah. So anyways, the toenail guy, that's disgusting. That is gross. And can you imagine? And at that point, Ryan, when you're seeing it and you hear the clip.
No, I know. Okay, so because that's how I discovered it, right? Is you're walking through and all of a sudden you hear, when you either see something or hear something out of context.
Yes.
And you're just like,
yes.
Oh, I recognize that. And then you're like, what is that noise? Yes. Why do I know that noise? Yes. And then all of a sudden, that's what draws you to it. And you go, oh, that is the sound of someone clipping their nails.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, it was repulsive. So I that was the negative. I do promise a positive. And I know how much. Yeah, I know how much you'll appreciate this. I was on a flight, United flight. The flight attendant was an absolute gem of a woman. She was fantastic. You guys have talked so much about the being on FaceTime in public, talking loud on the phone, things like that. We had someone who was watching videos on their phone without headphones. And within a minute to 2 minutes, immediately, flight attendant came right up the row and she goes, excuse me, sir, excuse me. You're going to have to put on headphones or turn that down because that's not allowed here. And I was like, oh, yes, thank you. Immediately addressed, because there's nothing worse than that person that just wants to continue to watch their video at a volume that is so high, by the way, that I'm a few rows back and I can hear it quite clearly.
So I'm not sure what's going on.
What the issue's going on there. But yeah, so to end on a positive note, so thankful for all of the wonderful flight attendants who do such a great job, and to avoid a situation like that where someone thinks that everyone else wants to hear the video that they're also watching.
I love her for doing that. Thank you. As I like to say to everyone, thank you for all that you do for the game.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that, or the sport. So love, love, love me some flight attendants.
Yeah, absolutely. They always, more often than not, they are just doing thankless work, and it's so incredible what they do each and every time. I also have, this isn't a negative or a positive, but I do have a confession that I need to share,
Okay.
that I caught myself pulling an Erin on a flight.
That's
Um,
frightening.
I wasn't aware of it, and now I'm wondering if
Oh
it's
no.
something I've always done
Oh no.
or just something that I've become aware of since you
Okay.
brought it up. Uh, Person on my right, one row up. All of a sudden, I realized I spent probably about 5 minutes watching Goodfellas over their shoulder. Uh, yeah. And, probably it's because Goodfellas is such a great movie. So at any point where you just jump in and you're like, oh, this is a great part.
Yeah.
And so that may have had something to do with it. And again, I'm not sure if this is something I've always done or if you've just made me aware of it. But yeah, I all of a sudden realized how much time I had spent there. And I go, why am I watching Goodfellas over this person's shoulder with no sound on? If I want to watch Goodfellas, I can just do it right here on my own
Yeah.
screen if I need to. But yeah, definitely caught myself pulling an Erin watching the Christopher Reeves documentary
Oh God.
over your neighbor's
At least you're
shoulder.
not
But
bawling your eyes out at the Goodfellas.
that's
You're like,
true. That's
whoa,
true.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot about this scene. I forgot about this
yeah,
one.
there were no tears, but I definitely was like, if this person happens to glance over their shoulder, they're probably just going to wonder why I'm not watching Goodfellas myself and feeling the need to share their screen with them with a total
Yeah.
stranger, which is definitely odd behavior.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, welcome to the world of travel, my friend. It sounds like
Yeah.
you're going to be doing a lot of it.
Listen.
It is a different life.
Yeah. You find yourself in situations you're never quite sure of, in more respects than one. But you know what? It's the life that we choose, and we're grateful for it. That's for sure.
The old bathroom stall change still is just, and I've actually gotten a few texts about it. Hey, was just changing in a stall and thought of you guys. Like, it is just the nastiest. Like, you can think you're on top of the world, stay in great hotels, work with the GOAT, do the best Super Bowl matchups. But when your head is down trying to pull your leggings off and you are dodging the auto flush in a nasty ass bathroom that just reeks, man, it takes you right back to where you started from,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are the humbling experiences that keep you grounded, right? Keep pushing for more. Yeah. No, that's.
Oh God. Well, I did some traveling to New York.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was in New York for a week. I got a chance to live out my morning show dreams
Yeah, you did.
on Jenna and Friends. And I had an incredible week, a busy, busy week, a lot of work we did that week. As soon as the cameras shut off, I was out and about. I left my hotel usually around 5:30 sometimes, stayed in the same hotel as the Celtics. That was really interesting as they were playing the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I'm jumping around here as you're used to, but
Sure.
I was raised a Celtics fan. My dad from Springfield, Mass. So it was pretty cool to be in the, hotel with the Celtics. Saw him coming out one morning for shoot around. That was pretty cool. And then the night that Jason Tatum was injured, I had to go to bed early because I'm hosting a morning show with, with Jenna. And I had no clue what was going on. I left my hotel room at 5:45, grabbed coffee down at the station. And the cute valet security guys are always like talking to me because I like sports. They're like, oh, how the Giants going to be? Like,
Sure.
They're kind of on me for being a Celtics fan. They said, yeah, so sad. Jason Tatum came back to the hotel last night. And I said, why? What happened? They said, he blew his leg out. And I was like, what? So yeah, obviously Celtics went back to Boston and Tatum came back to the hotel. And now we know he got surgery there. He's waiting for the team when they came back for game 6. Crazy. So sad.
Yeah. Super unfortunate. Obviously Celtics trying to defend their title, reigning champs. Jason Tatum having a great season.
Yeah.
And
hate that.
You hate to see something like that. You
Totally.
hope for speedy recovery and hope that, he can at least come back for a portion of next season. The Knicks, though, I mean, you're in New York. I mean, Knicks fans, they are loving life
pumped.
right now. They're
Oh,
having
yeah. And they are like nothing against Knicks fans because my best friend, Jacqueline Quick, is a Knicks fan. They
okay.
already think they've won the
I mean,
I'm
look,
like, don't
to
you
your
have
point,
more rounds?
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers.
Yeah.
But I think, so much of what it is they're such a proud fan base
Of
that
course.
have
And it's been
not.
a minute.
Yeah, it's been 2.5 decades. I think it's like
Yeah.
2000 or so was the last time that they went to the NBA Finals, I believe it
Mm.
was. And so it's been so long for them. And to do it, as you were saying, and as you know well, is to do it against the Celtics, I
Yeah.
think is what
Of
led them to
course.
such elation. Now, obviously, what you hope for is that you don't have this huge letdown because the Pacers have been playing great. And so they're ready to go. They got a little bit more rest. And so, hope that Knicks fans haven't gotten too high and that they're
Yeah.
not going to be satisfied with just an Eastern Conference Finals trip. But wow, yeah.
It's cool though. Like the hotel security and like the guys at the front, the staff are so great. And they all know me obviously from sports. And then working the week with Jenna and friends, all the security and the behind the scenes technical guys are like, how about the Knicks? How about the Knicks? And I like to play it up because I was raised a Celtics and a Red Sox fan. So I get in there,
Of course.
and then yeah, it's just fun to talk sports with those people. It's fun to talk about the Giants. And are you going to be here doing our games this year? I'm like, I don't know. How are they
Guess we'll
going to
see.
be? So that was really cool with that part of the show. I loved that. Those guys always want to talk a little sports, which was great. And yeah, I loved it. I loved getting up. I loved having 4 cups of coffee before I'm on air. Doing a morning show live is a lot like being on the sidelines. You got breaks. You got to be out. Hey, we got this guest coming in. You got this. You got to, this wedding setup you got to talk about. We've got, this dance workout. It's awesome. Like this is so up my alley. It's like moment to moment. Like don't trip over this, guys. Now over here. What are we talking about? Trisha Yearwood. Great to see you. So I loved it. It was right up my alley in terms of like being on your toes, reacting. I said this to Jenna. I knew she was good. I had done her show before as a guest. I had been on the Today Show as a guest. Look, she is very, very talented, but she is balancing that show because Hoda is now gone. And
Right.
there have been different hosts that have come in, and for her to transition and adjust between, I think Savannah Guthrie said this today, different talent levels. Some people do this for a living, some people don't. She's awesome. And what a gal and what a life she's led. She was talking about one day, we were talking about your college graduation, and she shared a story and said, I didn't go to mine. And I said, really?
Oh, wow.
Why not? She went to Texas. Big Texas fan. She's great. And she was just saying logistically, her dad was in office. It would have been so hard for the other families and students with the security and everything they'd have to do logistically to have him and her mother there, that she was like, nah, let's just forget about it. We'll do a party. Her dad was the president. Her grandfather was the president. I mean, what a life,
I know.
And I know that's old news, but to be around somebody like that, it's just fascinating how they grew up, and she's normal, which is really, really cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I mean, to your point, like you're saying that's old news, but it's like, that's forever. Right. Like that doesn't just go away.
No. I don't mean it like that. But, she's discussed this, but I've never been around her that much to be like, so your life is fascinating,
No, totally. But like, it's obviously it lined up with her dad being in office while she's graduating college, but that just doesn't stop for anything. No matter where you're at in your life, you will always and forever be the daughter and granddaughter of a former president. So yeah, it's kind of remarkable what you take for granted in terms of everyday life, that those type of experiences aren't always an option, right? It's to what you're saying. It's just, oh, well, logistically, that just doesn't happen. Or, I had to make the choice to give that up because of this. And so.
Yeah. It was great. It was so much fun. I loved every minute of it. It was a really, really good time.
Yeah. I mean, look, it looked amazing. You did such an incredible job. Obviously, you guys had all sorts of great guests too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Blake Shelton, Jimmy Fallon,
yeah,
Trisha Yearwood, who's country royalty, Queen Latifah. Talking
yeah.
to her about 90s rap, like
Okay.
fire. Just
Yeah.
so much fun. And by the way, she looks phenomenal. She's so calm and chill and just cool and swag. I loved her. I did her show back in the day. She had a talk show and I loved it. I was kind of nervous being on. I was like, I don't know, what's Queen Latifah going to talk to me about? And I remember
Sure.
walking away thinking, she, much like Trisha Yearwood, she's royalty in her own sense.
Right.
And yeah, she was great. I loved having her on. It was so much fun.
There's nothing better than coming across people who are, at the top of their industry or whatever they may be doing, not
Yeah.
even just broadcasting, but whatever it may be. And for them to be so grounded and so approachable and so easy to
Yeah.
talk to and come across, you always just really appreciate it. And,
I do.
as you know, there are many people across many different walks of life that aren't always that way. And you sort of question why they carry themselves in such a respect, that when you come across those that are so great and so successful that can still be grounded and approachable,
Mhm.
you have an even greater appreciation for who they are and what they've been able to do.
Ryan, I was going to ask you, you guys have a ton of guests on every day. How many guests do you tend to have on Colin's show a day?
It's usually two.
Oh, that's it. Why does it feel like so many?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends. We've sort of transitioned more towards fewer guests, maybe for a little bit longer. So instead of like 3 to 4 for 10 minutes at a time, we'll
Yeah.
do more 1 to 2 for like 15 to 20. And especially with what Fox has been able to provide us in terms
That's
of,
awesome.
obviously, like when we have Brady on, we would love to have Brady for 20 minutes as opposed to 5. So when we have the opportunity to have Brady on, we're going to keep him as long as we can. Or
Yeah.
when we have Julian Edelman in studio during the football season. So that's sort of the model we've been trying to more gear towards, is fewer guests for a longer period of time as
Cool.
opposed to more for a shorter.
Yeah, that's great. So along the lines of me talking about Queen Latifah, and you were talking about it's great when you meet people and you're like, wow, exactly what I hoped, or however you described it. Who would that be that's been on Colin's show?
Wow, who's been on Colin's show? Easy to get along with. I mean, honestly, Julian would be one of them.
The best. Yeah.
Like such a down to earth,
Love.
easy person to get along
Mhm.
with. And like, you and Charissa have already talked about this with Julian, but just to like back it up, is that this guy's accomplished so much as a football player,
Yeah.
but he cares so much about wanting to be a better broadcaster. And with former players, it's two categories. It's, hey, I'm that guy who did this in the league. You should just be happy that I'm here to be on television. And then you have someone like Julian who's like wanting feedback. Hey, I've been thinking about this. Hey, how does this sound? Is there a better way for me to say it? Or, is this an interesting thing to talk about? Or are there other things that we should be talking about? He just craves that feedback, and he's so easy and so approachable and so engaging. Someone like him is always so great to work with as a producer.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand your role, that like you can't be coming to someone like a former athlete and just being like, well, this is how we do it, and try and be all drill sergeant and X, Y, and Z. It's like you kind of have to be like, all right, give them feedback if they're open to it. But if they're not open to it, like that door's closed. You got to know where your role is. And coming across someone like Julian, who's already great and then constantly looking to get better, is fantastic. You can't ask for anything better.
No, it's so true what you say that. I'll tell stories to people and I'm like, oh, and I was talking to Tom Brady the other day and they're like, wow, name drop. And you think to yourself, yeah, it is a name drop, but he's also A, my friend, and B, my coworker. And we are on text chains together and, talk about basically every big big headline in the NFL. Jules the same way. And I think that is what's so cool about our job. Like they're a dynasty. They are GOATs at their position, like Hall of Famers. And we watched them and I covered them do such incredible things, and to call them a friend and love that how, just everyday guys, like they
Totally.
are, is really, really a cool experience for us, and something that is a real pinch me moment, I think, for guys
Oh, absolutely.
guys and gals like us, because it's like, this is what we wanted to do,
For sure. And another one, which we had the great pleasure of having here on Calm Down, and we have on occasionally with Colin, is
Who?
Derek Jeter, the captain.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, again, just
the best. Just a regular dude, but
oh
not
my gosh, I
Derek
know.
Jeter.
It's Derek freaking Jeter, and like the captain. And I remember, I don't think I ever told you this, but it was one of those moments where, a little pull back the curtain. You had put me into a group message with Derek. You're like, hey, talk to Derek. We're going to have him on the show. Hey, Derek, this is our producer, Ryan.
Yeah.
Let's get connected. And so I was like, okay, great. And then so I sort of
I'm
messaged
on a text chain with Derek Jeter.
Exactly. And I then texted him on the side, because nobody wants to constantly be looped in on details they don't need to be included on. And I was sitting on the couch with my wife, and to see it pop up on my phone, like, Derek Jeter texts you back. And I just showed her, I go, this is insane. Like, this is crazy. And he's so humble and so nice and so easy to work with in so many respects. And I know, the people who work on the MLB on Fox crew with him, like, you cannot find a single human being on this planet that has a bad word to say about him.
I've never heard anyone have a bad thing to say about Derek Jeter, which is so awesome to say, but also on the level of us getting to know him. You don't want to meet your heroes, but there are some that are great to meet.
Oh, yeah. And then it exceeds all expectations, and you're just like, wow, how is he better than what I already thought of him?
He's the best. I don't know if I told this story. One of the great things Fox does is, integrate their sports. And the football, our announcing crew was in town the week that baseball, I think, was either due. I don't know what was going on, but they all were doing a studio show. Obviously, we share Kevin. So our bosses were like, let's have a big dinner. And it was awesome. It was like us, and it was Poppy, A-Rod, the captain, and our bosses. And then Fox was great enough where they were like, if you want to invite your spouses, you can. So this is when Greg Olson was with us, and Greg, is the best. And he was there, and Jarrett came, and Jarrett's friends, obviously, as everyone sees, with everyone, but hadn't met Jeter. And I was so excited for him too, because
it's also easy to blend in when you're a 2-time Stanley Cup champion.
Please.
So
well, you got my guy, Poppy, you've got, Derek sitting right there. And Jarrett was asking Derek a lot of questions, and then those boys had to go because they were on air the next day. And Jarrett looked at Greg and goes, what a fucking great guy. And Greg's like, I know, man, right? And he goes, he's just like a normal guy. And it's like, but he's not. He's the captain. Right. And it's just,
It's just incredible. Awesome. Yeah. You always come across those legends, and you only hope that they can live up to what you've imagined them to be. And when they exceed it, it realize how special we are to have lived in a time to not just witness their greatness, but then to be as lucky as we are to come across them in a professional or even in a more, as you're saying, in a more personal space. And for them to still live up to that is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this to change gears a little bit. I also have something I think you'll appreciate that I need to put out about, sort of a wife and husband dynamic.
Always.
So my wife, I was on the road and I was coming back, and she doesn't do this often, but she had said like, hey, I bought a package of spray tans. And we were going to be going out, and she was like, hey, I think this makes sense. I'm going to use this one. I'm like, okay, cool. So I land, and I'm coming home from the airport. She's like, hey, I got my spray tan. I was like, okay, cool. She goes, it's going to look intense, but I haven't showered to wash it off yet. Just know. And I was like, okay, yeah, definitely. And she goes, no, like it's going to look intense. So just be prepared. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I made a huge mistake. So
you got the spray tan, or she did?
She did. She did. This is where I made the big mistake. I get home. She had given me multiple fair warnings.
I just read what you said on our outline.
Yeah. And I gave her a look, that was clearly involuntary. And she goes, I tried telling you. And this is like
Oompa Loompa.
right from walking in the door. So it's not great when you've already been apart for, as you know, you should be more engaging with like, hey. And she goes, I tried warning you. Does it look bad? And I don't know what came over me, but I said, it doesn't look bad. It looks peculiar. And
so who says that word, Rye?
I don't know, but it was not a good idea. And it was not the right thing to say.
It just looks really orange or really different. Like,
yeah, I don't know. So that was a major mistake. So
how'd that go over?
Not well. And
for how long?
And then it wasn't that long, but it's just like, it's when you know you've hurt their feelings, which is what sucks, because it's like, she did everything right.
She's like that she doesn't look peculiar. The tan had,
exactly, but then you're trying to work it back, but like the words have already come out. There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. And now it's like, hard. Oh, I need to like scrub it off. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's going to look good. So that's, you hate when you find yourself in a situation, because she did everything right. She's like trying to give you a heads up, like, hey, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. We've been through this before. It's going to blend in. It's going to mellow out. I got it a few hours ago. I need to wait a few hours before I can wash it off, blah, blah, blah. And you still just drop the ball. And then you just hate that you've hurt their feelings. And it's already clearly something that it's like, hey, I know I look off. And then you just come right in the door after not seeing them for a few days. And you're like, yeah, you do look off. It's like you
need to sit in that.
Yeah,
you need to sit in that and stew. So what do you do to make it up to her?
Well, we are going on a trip, so we'll be making it up over, on dinner and drinks.
Oh, yeah, you will.
So, yeah, absolutely. So
I love that.
Yeah.
But, I'm going on a trip. I'm going on a work trip on Friday.
Got it.
And I'm leaving for a while to film a new game show.
Oh, yes, that's
Fox.
Right. 99 to beat?
99 to beat. And I'm very nervous. I have a ton of anxiety, but I'm excited. I am excited to get back into that world. Obviously, it's been a minute since I got the boot from Dancing with the Stars with Tom Bergeron. I affectionately love to tell that story. My agent's like, don't say that. You weren't fired. You were replaced. I was fired.
Oh,
I was fired.
Okay, sure.
So I'm excited to have this opportunity.
However you want to categorize it, we'll let you do that.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be really interesting. I can't wait to check in with you guys and give you some updates. It's with Ken Jeong, also a family and Fox family member. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to run during the football season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really exciting. I don't know how much more I'm supposed to share, but it was a British game show. So I've watched it on YouTube. It's hilarious and fun. And here's to the show and more seasons to come after that. I hope I crush. So it'll be a fun challenge.
Yeah, if nothing else. Everybody knows you are a pro's pro and it's going to be a huge success.
Oh, I love you.
We're not even worried about that. So was this, just in general, was this like, because you've gone from Dancing with the Stars, Thursday Night Football, Where, Calm Down Podcasts. Was this something that you were thinking, I really want to get back into sort of the game show space? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I have always been very, very open about... I liked the live element of Dancing with the Stars. This will be taped, so it'll be a little different. I have to psych myself out and say it's live. Yeah, I love that. And I was on Pyramid one time with Stray up against Aaron Rodgers, had a blast doing that. I love that whole vibe and have been really, taking meetings and trying to get back in that world. I like playing off people. I like playing off contestants. I'm super pumped I don't have to wear a ballroom gown. I'm very excited about that. So, I really wanted to get back into that. And I also have been very open about the whole morning show world too. too. I'm
Right.
Stray, when Stray was doing live with Kelly and Michael, I was used a couple of times when when Kelly was taking time off to fill in, and I had a blast. It was kind of like wind me up and let me go. So those worlds are something I'm really interested in. I kind of love trying to be the female version of Michael Strahan. Guy has so much swag. Another guy that's incredible, that you get to meet. It's like
Right.
he has so much swagger and he's so good with everyone. One thing I love about Stray is we'll all be out together, from our production crew to the talent to the directors, the producers to the assistants. Stray is making his way around the room. He has something to say to everybody, as we all should, but he's just so good at everything, and he does it with such ease. So yeah, I would love to be maybe the female version of Michael Strahan.
Well,
His
listen.
bank account wouldn't be bad to have either. But that's one thing we say about Stray. Stray works his ass off.
Right.
We're all like, while we're sitting in our jammies in the morning having a cup of coffee, Michael's in his suit and he's breaking down the Pope,
Well, listen, make sure you give yourself some credit in all of this, not to take away from the greatness of Michael Strahan. But as we've laid out between NFL on Fox, Where, Being a Mom, Calm Down podcast, all the different roles that you fulfill, it's not as if you're sitting on the couch kicking back, just wasting time. So don't forget how much it is that you're doing on a week in and week out basis. So give yourself the credit.
Love you. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.